This is Goku-san, DBZ, and today is the third of the four specials of February, which is Anime Monster Theme Month. And of course, week 1 we had Top 12 Generation 1 Pokemon, last week we had Top 12 Digimon. This week is Top 12 Generation 2 Pokemon, and next week will be the Top 12 Duel Monsters from, of course, the anime series Yu-Gi-Oh! So, let us get started. But first, honorable mentions to the top 12. First out, Hoot Hoot, Ladybug, Lantern, Slowking, Miltank, and Celebi. And those are the honorable mentions, which of course these are also known as the Neo Pokemon, or the era of course, the Johto League. Coming in at number 12 is Pichu, which is of course really the prior version, which originally Pikachu was the start, but then later on they decided to make Pichu actually before Pikachu, which makes them Pikachu no longer the starter. Yeah, kind of interesting. And also tied at number 12 is Cyndaquil, which is of course a starter of the three main Pokemon from the Johto League. Like in the original, of course, Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur. But Cyndaquil is one of course, Cyndaquil, Chikorita, and Togedile are, of course, the starters in that universe. And coming in at number 11 is Togepi, because it's a fan favorite from the series, of course. And Totodile, or Totodile, whatever. Totodile. So, and yes, of course, as always with the other lists, this is a compiled list of opinions from Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, Google+, and of course opinions here on YouTube. But this is a combination of viewpoints of people's favorites from this particular generation. Coming in at number 10, Tyranitar, which is a very, a pretty strong overall, obviously, Pokemon from this era. Now, personally, for me, I'm not the biggest fan of Generation 2 Pokemon, overall. There's a few I like here and there, but I've always been more of strictly a Generation 1 person myself. Maybe it's because I was like 13 or 14, around that range, young teenager, when I first started playing the Pokemon games, Red and Blue. Of course, my favorite is Yellow. And I like the redone version, Fire Red, personally. But it just depends on the person. Some people may like the newer generations rather than the Neo Pokemon. Coming in at number 9 is a tie between Marill and Wobbuffet, which of course would become a member, at least in the TV show, of course, Wobbuffet would become a member of Team Rocket. Because by a little accident, Jessie accidentally ends up trading Lickitung for Wobbuffet. And Wobbuffet, to be fair, is pretty funny, though. And of course, they slowly replace some of the Pokemon over a time period. Like Weezing goes away for somehow, and Arbok ends up going away somehow. Coming in at number 8 is the evolved form of Onix, which would be Steelix. which is one of the more dominant Pokemon, obviously, from the Neo generation. Now, I admit I do like one of the games, though. I do like Pokemon Silver, though I would personally like to be able to get my hands on Pokemon Crystal with Suicune on the front. I just think that version of the game looks cooler, but less copies available, harder to find, so obviously more expensive. And 2 or 3 times as hard to find than Silver or Gold, which I could easily enough get, like Soul Silver or Heart Gold, obviously, on the DS relatively easy, though the prices are higher than the original versions of the game. Coming in at number 7, Houndoom, which is an interesting Pokemon, which is used by bad guys, obviously. In particular, Houndoom is a signature for, of course, the group Team Magma. That's one of their signature, and actually also in the group in X and Y, which is, of course, Team Flare. Yet in the anime series, even though they've shown some of the other groups, like Team Magma and Team Aqua, they still make the show only revolve around Jesse and James of Team Rocket. Where in the video games, Team Rocket only exists in Generation 1. Though they do, of course, make appearances and stuff in Generation 2 Pokemon games. But that's about it. Generation 3 onwards, you don't see Team Rocket at all. Giovanni does not exist anymore. So it's relatively weird, to say the least. Coming in at number 6 is a tie between 2 special evolved forms which later came out for Eevee. Of course, everyone remembers the original 3. Flareon, Jolteon, and and Vaporeon. Then you end up having now 2 new groups of evolved forms, a Psychic evolved form and a Dark Energy evolved form, which are, of course, Espeon and Umbreon. And now, personally, for me, of the original 3, my favorite is probably Jolteon, because I like Pin Missile Attack. But of the other versions, personally, my personal favorite overall is actually Espeon. For some reason, I just like it, but it's because I've always liked Psychic-type Pokemon myself. Easily one of my favorite Psychic Pokemon of all time to use, personally, is probably Hypno. Would probably be one of my all-time favorites. Hypno, and then probably Alakazam being my top 2. Coming in at number 5 is the evolved form of Chikorita, Bayleaf, which definitely became a fan favorite from the TV series, I will say, and they stuck with Bayleaf a lot longer than a lot of the others. Well, than the other versions. Bayleaf was around the longest on the TV series, which is maybe one of the reasons why it became a fan favorite. Coming in at number 4 is a tie between 2 particular of the 3 Mystic Wolves. And that is, tied at number 4 is Entei, which of course was the big major Pokemon in obviously the 3rd Pokemon movie. And of course also with the assistance of the unknown Pokemon. And tied with it is the more electric Mystic Wolf, which is Raikou. So yeah, tied at number 4 is Raikou and Entei. Coming in at number 3, some people would consider probably the most powerful of all the mystic birds. But, and it's got somewhat revered in some ways as a god, I guess you could say. And that being Ho-Oh, coming in at number 3. One, it gets to number 3 because it does have a little bit of a fan base, but also Ho-Oh being such an influential Pokemon also to the TV series. Coming in at number 2 is sort of a cross between a psychic and a water type. And that is, of course, this Pokemon got to be on the front of its own version, Pokemon Crystal. And of course that is the Mystic Wolf, and by far the biggest fan favorite of the Mystic Wolves. Of course that being Suicune. And Suicune is an interesting design. I'm going to think about it for a second. A wolf with like a giant shell, turtle type shell on its back. That's an interesting design. But Generation 2 is, I think, the last generation that had some interesting design Pokemon then. As the games have progressed, the designs of future generations of Pokemon are really out there and really stupid looking on a lot of them. I think they lost a lot of ideas really after the first, 251 Pokemon. They basically lost an idea on designs. Now, some of the more recent ones have been a little bit better in the design than some Generation 3 or Generation 4, surprisingly. Coming in at number 1 is the main Pokemon, of course, in Pokemon 2000, which, of course, ended up battling the other 3 Mystic Birds, Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres. And that is the Psychic Mystic Bird. And that being, of course, Lugia, which is, of course, on the front of Pokemon Silver and Soul Silver. Now, if you look at sales statistics of the 3 versions, Crystal, Gold, and Silver, you will discover, yeah, there's quite a few copies of Gold out there, but if you look, Silver was the best-selling version of the game because Silver version, you could get, of course, obviously, Lugia, Gold, Ho-Oh, and Crystal, Suicune. Now, I've personally never actually got a chance to play Suicune since I've never had Crystal. Now, I actually, once upon a time, I did own Pokemon Silver myself. And I very much enjoyed it. Eventually, I'd like to try to get Silver back for my own personal collection. To go with some of the other Pokemon games I've collected over the years, like Yellow, Red, Emerald. The first Pokemon White, I don't have White 2 though. Need to get that. And eventually hope to get some of the others. But Silver / Crystal is on the top of my list to recollect. And that is the top 12 Generation 2 Pokemon. And I hope you enjoyed this top 12 countdown. Of course, you can follow me at twitter.com/GokuSunDBZ as well as on G+ /GokuSunDBZ. Please leave a comment below. Tell me what your favorite Generation 2 Pokemon are. Or in general, your favorite Pokemon. And also, please share this video, subscribe, and just give me feedback. I like to get feedbacks to see if I can try to improve somewhat my channel and improve some of my future top 12 lists and vlogs. And yes, I want to quickly show something actually I just came across yesterday. Well, actually about 2 weeks ago I got it put on hold so I could get it. I just picked up yesterday the complete collection, mint condition. All 4 Dot Hack games for the PS2. That is just incredible. And all of them come with the original booklet and the DVDs. So that is an incredible find I came across. And let me know if in the future you'd like me to do a little bit of a gameplay / review of some of the Dot Hack games. Because, as I said, I like feedback, and I want to hear from you all out there. So I know what to work on for the future, possibly game reviews, as well as top 12 lists. And, of course, now you know what next week top 12 will be, which is the top 12 Duel Monsters of Yu-Gi-Oh! And here is Song of the Week pick. Since I did it I think 2 weeks back or something, I forgot last week. For last week, I was originally going to mention I'll mention it now and then mention this week's pick. Last week was originally a song by the hard rock slash alternative rock band Red, and a song they did on their first album, which is called Lost. It's an incredible song, and I highly recommend you check it out. This week's song pick of the week is by the German thrash metal band called Primal Fear, and the song is called Under the Radar. Pretty good song, and I highly recommend it. Next week, just to let you know, up to now I've done like one pop song, one alternative hard rock song, of course, and this week a metal song. Next week, I'm going to choose some from a genre I'm normally not a big fan of or listen to, rap music. And yes, the pick will be from a particular rap artist. A very well-known one, I will say. But stay tuned for the song pick of the week next week. Or just call it Song of the Week. But stay tuned for that. And, of course, for Top 12. And, of course, I'm going to try, I mentioned I was going to try last week, but I'm going to try, hopefully today or tomorrow, to put up a review for Street Fighter Unlimited issue number 3. And something else I'm going to be trying to do slowly over time of these 3 I picked up, which are a special mini-series of 6 issues of a crossover between Batman and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So stay tuned for those future vlogs. And I hope everyone out there has a good upcoming week and a good upcoming March next week. And until next time out there, peace out. This is Goku Sun DBZ.